The NFL draft is just 15 days away. Very excited. Our show might be on the way there. We've got announcements and fun stuff on the way. The towering 6'7" tight end draft prospect from Old Dominion, Zack Kuntz, will join us not in studio because I did not wear my heels, so I would have to look up to him as he's a giraffe to a mere 5 foot tall Kay Adams. Sitting here on our last show in New York for the week. So thankful to FanDuel TV. I really did have a moment of gratitude out there on the terrace this morning. This is a green screen, of course, but it pretty much looks like this. And I thought, man, not everybody's afforded the luxury of, I have to be in New York. Can we do the show there? Can we do the show here? Because I want to be in New York for a couple of days. And I have that, and I'm really grateful for it. And I wouldn't have it if it wasn't for everybody at FanDuel TV and FanDuel for making that happen. So thank you. And we've got lots of fun. So we got a draft prospect. Also, who's not getting enough love? This wide receiver draft class, so we're going to dish it out. And Hamilton and I are going to match NFL prospects with the perfect team. But really, I watched the Succession episode and he didn't. So I dare him to come on TV and talk to me today. Let's go. This Zack Kuntz is going to be a difference maker on an NFL team. Will it be yours? Let us know at Up and Adam Show if you want him. He is the tight end from Old Dominion. He is joining us. The Giants put the tag on Saquon Barkley. I said it was a very savvy move. It needed to be done. Then they got the deal done with Daniel Jones. But we were having news this morning. Kim Jones, where you been? She's saying that she's told Saquon Barkley will not be signing the franchise tag, therefore will not be eligible to participate when the New York Giants offseason program begins on Monday. More to come. At Newsday Sports, where she is, and you should check her out. She's amazing, and I wish she'd come on my show, Kim Jones, anytime. Sure, worth monitoring, but let's calm down, everybody. Let's not panic about this one. If you're a Giants fan, Saquon wants what he deserves, a long-term deal, and I'm pretty sure the Giants want to work something out, so it wouldn't really make sense for him to sign that tag right now. You don't want this dragging out too long, but there's plenty of time to get the deal done, get some extension in motion, so I'm not going to read into this very much. If there's one player I wouldn't be concerned about missing workouts, it's Saquon. In fact, I think, if I was Saquon, I'd probably want to skip OTAs as well and not show up to them. So, as he does a pretty good job of keeping those quads in shape on his own, let's not freak out about this yet, people. Let's just cool it. And I'm excited for the Giants year two with their Dable coach and their franchise quarterback of the future all settled. That'll be super fun. Now, the biggest story yesterday came out of Atlanta. The Falcons landed former 3rd overall pick Jeff Okudah from Detroit, and the price was a 5th rounder. Okudah, we were really excited about this guy. Top corner when he was drafted. He hasn't been that. He hasn't been the dominant guy at the draft price for the Lions, but he is just 24 years old. And his issues probably had more to do with injury luck than anything else. Maybe that can get worked out. He missed, guys, 25 out of a potential 50 games over the course of this 3-year career so far. But he's young. It's a low-risk move. There's a potential high reward for the Falcons, so we like it. And I think one that deserves some love here because they're continuing a bit of a defensive overhaul down in ATL. There's been serious talent upgrades there, okay? Jesse Bates, who I was very bummed to see leave Cincy, Calais Campbell, you got pedigree there, you've got a veteran, he signed there. But they also dealt their division rival Saints a few blows, right? They took on Caden Ellis, they landed another 1st-round corner in Mike Hughes. As well, you like taking away from rivals, and you like bolstering what is perennially been a laughing stock outside of like Grady Jarrett's the only guy that really stands for anything down there with this Falcons team cohesively as a squad that can stop anyone in a division that's a bit lackluster, especially now without Tom Brady. These are things that we need to talk about and that are exciting. The NFC South is wide open, and the Saints, they're looked at, I think, as the favorites. Which I love because they get Derek Carr and all of that, and we like it. But I would not sleep on what is going on in Atlanta. And as for Detroit, we'll talk about what this trade could mean for their approach to the draft a little bit later on the show with Matthew Hamilton. But now we are going to do another edition of NFL Draft Underreactions, everybody. While they're, Oh, jazzy music. Is this from the Sanford and Son soundtrack? Shout out Tajay Spears. Okay, here's what we're underreacting to on this Wednesday. There isn't a Jamar Chase, right? He's at UFC, hanging out with this guy, Joe Burrow. They've got a magical connection. There's no Jalen Waddle, someone excited about with the cool dance that we all will learn and copy and TikTok about. No. There's no top 5 or 6 pick at wide receiver in this class, and we may not have 4 go in the top 12 like we saw last year, but I do think because of that, we've forgotten about wide receivers. We're underreacting to how impactful this class can and likely, given the history of wide receivers in their rookie year of late, will be. The last 3 drafts being absolutely bonkers at the position should not diminish this one. Now, if you take a look at our guy, Daniel Jeremiah, we're his PR system here. We love Daniel Jeremiah, and he does all the hardest work, so we show his top 50 prospect list here. Take a look. He has 5 wide receivers in the top 40. And listen, all of them have question marks, sure, but they all have big-time potential. With where they're going, I've seen value all over this. I want to start with the first name on the list, Jordan Addison, out of USC, total package, we're talking skill set. And if he was a little bit bigger, this always happens. The undersized guys get no love. If he was a little bit bigger, no doubt he would be a top 10 pick, but he's 5'11", he's 173 pounds. There's going to be doubts about whether he can hold up at the next level. Hopefully Devontae Smith's success, the Heisman Trophy winner, did his thing for the Eagles. Hopefully that success sort of helps make the case for him and some of the other quote-unquote undersized Gavroche from Les Miserables guys. Let's not forget a bee can sting a bear. A worm can roll a stone, okay? Yeah, I brought some Broadway. I'm here in New York. That's what we do here. He has the chance to be a star, Jordan Addison does, and he started his career at Pitt as Kenny Pickett's right-hand man, where he racked up over 100 catches, 1,600 yards, 18 touchdowns. The Biletnikoff Award, baby, that went to him! The nation's best receiver. Are you serious? Come on, what a value for an NFL team. And he helped Kenny show off first-round talent. So I wouldn't rule out a reunion. By the way, Steelers fans, you want to see him? You sit there at 17, you pick, you want this guy? A nice, we're talking about Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase to lead this segment off. That'd be pretty great. And after a successful run at Pitt, and Addison transferred over to USC. What did he do for the Trojans? You might be asking, why should we draft him if we're an NFL team? He helped crown Caleb Williams, the quarterback, with the Heisman Trophy. I'm not saying everything he touches turned to gold, but I mean, if it walks like a Heisman and looks like a Heisman and he's around it, you gotta say it tracks, okay? And he's got a good track record when it comes to helping out his quarterback. So if you're a team like the Giants, you're a team like the Packers, the Patriots with Mac Jones, the Chargers, and you're sitting in the mid to late round with young quarterbacks, Addison has to be a pretty attractive option. We're underreacting to. And if you thought Jordan Addison has to deal with annoying questions about being undersized, let me introduce you to Boston College wideout Zay Flowers. I talk about him a lot on Up and Adams. Here's his measurements: 5'9", $182. That's what he did at the combine. But he put on chef's kiss athletic display, okay? He ran a look at the speed. Blazing off the pages, smoke emoji. Okay, he ran a 4.42. And look how smoothly he did it. He looked so good in drills. He showed off the skill set, helping him rack up over 1,000 yards. And a Boston College record, guys. 12 touchdowns last season. He's quick. He's got this insane ability to change direction, and it helps him create separation as well as any receiver in this draft, and he makes big-time plays after the catch. Mr. Yak over here. So for his career, guys, in the ACC, he finished 4th in history in touchdown grabs. Want to know who that's ahead of? The big boys. Calvin Johnson, friend of the show. DeAndre Hopkins, who still needs to come on the show. T. Higgins, friend of the show. And just 2 behind, friend of the show, Torrey Holt, for 3rd place on this list. What? Say what? It's hard to be in better company, okay? Plenty of teams have been taking notice. He had a visit with the Giants today, so Saquon's not signing his deal. Let's spend less time on that and more on the fact that Flowers is in the building. He was up in Foxy Town on Route 1 with the Patriots last week, and he spent the whole day apparently hanging out with Bill O'Brien, learning the offense. I love this for any of these teams, and all that momentum building towards him staying in the Boston area. It's a cute storyline. You got the Boston College thing. Pat's pick at 14. Okay, lots of reports. New England in love with him. And the film rooms, Brett Coleman, by the way, they even tweeted that Zay to the Pats feels like the league's worst kept secret. So we'll see if there's fire behind any of the smoke or if it just makes someone say, oh no, Patriots, you will not, and we're going to jump ahead of you in New England to snag him. All right, is there another wide receiver I want to talk about? Hell yes, there is. TCU wideout Quentin Johnson. We name these guys, we brush them over. Oh, but not a great wide receiver class. Are you guys kidding? It's not all about the little guys, because Johnston is a monster, okay? 6'3" monster, 208-pound, 40.5-inch vertical monster. Big play machine. Gosh, it would be so fun just for one day to have those measurements. Can you imagine? He averaged 19 yards per catch. 19 yards per catch in his career with the Frogs, who are horned. He captured national attention with 6 catches for 163 yards and a touchdown in TCU's upset win over Michigan. This was the college football playoff. That effort, and I wish we could show the footage because it was amazing, it earned him MVP honors, as you're seeing. It vaulted his squad into the national championship game. So he might not be as polished as some of these other guys, right? But when we're talking about upside, value in the draft, ceiling, all those buzzwords that we love, his is tantalizing. It's top shelf because the size, the athleticism, he's drawing plenty of first-round interest, okay? He's had visits with the Cardinals. He's talked to the Titans, the Cowboys, the Chiefs. Right now, most people have him going in the late first round, but could he be a big-bodied target for a Super Bowl MVP, 2-time Super Bowl champion who might want a big receiver to throw to named Patrick Mahomes? Sure. The weapon the Cowboys were missing opposite CeeDee Lamb last year, could that be Johnston? Sure, it could be. Do the Bills go get him to try to jumpstart their passing game? Again, if he does end up going towards the end of the first round to one of those loaded teams, Quentin may be someone that we are talking about in the playoffs as a rookie next year. So yes, give all the love to the quarterbacks and the defense that didn't get enough love, and we talk about it here on the program, but don't sleep on the wide receivers or keep sleeping on them, and then when they pop off, they'll be underrated, underhyped, they'll undersell and over-deliver. Now coming up, Matt Hamilton and I are gonna break down the 3rd episode of season 4 of Succession, the ins and outs, every little bit, no stone left unturned. The full recap next. 15 days. Oh, 15's the number of the quarterback who plays in that city, Kansas City. We're 15 days from Up and Adams hitting the road to KC for the 2023 NFL Draft. No barbecue side is safe. You can have your brisket, you can have all your things. Hamilton knows this. I don't like to eat the actual barbecue. Barbecue sauce, kind of not my thing. But sides, oh, I'm coming for your sides, Hammy.
Yep. Anything. I mean, I saw that lunch that we had in last time you were in New York. Just eat all the carbs, leave everything else alone. That's your go-to.
Correct. That is my go-to. The audacity, the nerve, the cojones it took you this morning to show your face on this program, knowing that I have seen Succession. I have caught up on Succession. You're the only one in our entire group holding us back from talking about it, and you think I'm not going to spoil that for you right now?
Well, first of all, I apologize for getting married and not being able to watch this week's episode. I should have prioritized. That's on me. But I guess you do kind of owe me after the spoiler I gave you a few years ago. One of my favorite case stories of all time. When we were with Good Morning Football, you were asked to watch The Sixth Sense. That was your homework assignment during one off-season weekend. And of course, typical K fashion, didn't watch a second of it. And so you called me, you're like, catch me up. What do I need to know about this? Obviously, I know what the big twist is, but tell me what else happens. And I was like, well, I go through the plot. And of course, Bruce Willis is dead the whole time. What? Why would you tell me that? You spoiled the whole thing. You ruined the movie for me. I'm like, you said you know the big twist. And you go, I thought the twist was that the kid could see dead people. It's like, no, they tell you that in the commercial.
That is. Do they really tell you that in the commercial? That's what I thought the big twist was. I have seen that movie, though. At some point, I've definitely seen it along the way. Or maybe I've just thought that I did. But either way, let me tell you what happens in Succession. Do you not know?
I know you know.
You know.
I have an idea because it's inescapable on social media, so I have something of an idea, but yeah.
What I thought from seeing social media, I thought somebody got offed, but not the person who got offed. So I was wrong about based off what was trending on social media from Succession, but I won't bother you about this. Listen, the draft is 15 days away, legit. Like, it's almost here, and we've tried our best. We only have an hour a day to do it, but you and me are trying to give everybody the best information. We're going to meet some of these prospects. You got Zack Kuntz coming on the show, Old Dominion tight end. We've talked to PFF and Mike Renner about the draft simulators. We've been interviewing all these guys, trying to get to know them. So I figured we can do what you and I do best, which is play matchmaker, okay? You and I, it's just what we do. It's what we do. So I'm gonna toss up a player here, give a little color, a little background, and then we're gonna get into some of the best landing spots and options. First, let's go with the guy that I keep trying to make the case. Listen, Sheena was telling me, yeah, he should go number 1 overall. Let's go. Florida quarterback Anthony Richardson. He's got the athleticism. He's got the upside. He's a powerhouse. He's got an incredible arm. He doesn't have all the experience in the world. Fine. Put him in an organization, though, where his potential can shine, and you've got something here. The Panthers, the Colts, and the Raiders. These are 3 great options for him. What's his best fit, Hammy?
Those are all really good options, but I really like the Colts as a fit. I think he's going to have a ton of support there with Pittman and Jonathan Taylor, and an O-line that's still pretty good, needs a little bit of retooling, but he's going to have an offensive mind there that can bring out the best in him. We saw how Shane Steichen helped improve Jalen Hurts over the last 2 years, and Richardson has a similar skill set. I think Steichen can really make that transition to the NFL smooth for Richardson and really get the absolute best out of him.
Man, I want him to sit behind someone, though, for a bit. I don't want to put all that pressure on him right away, and I'd love to put him in a situation where he can thrive with a great receiver. Listen, the last time Josh McDaniels took a Florida quarterback wearing 15, it didn't work out super well. But this time I do think it'll be different. And I think we see the Raiders. I want a check mark on the Raiders. They trade up. Yeah, and they grab him. Listen, I love the fact that there's going to be no pressure on him. Jimmy G will be healthy, hopefully, to start the season. He can sit back and develop. He's got Devontae Adams to throw to, a strong run game. In the league-leading Josh Jacobs returning there. So Vegas is about, Chris Collinsworth said, put him in the ideal spot. The ideal spot is putting him on the bench for a little bit so he can reach his long-term potential. And so I'm saying Raiders. We want to hear your answers, guys. Argue with us at Up and Adam Show on Twitter. All right, how about the guy, Matthew McConaughey's beloved Bijan Robinson? Jordan Spieth's beloved Bijan Robinson. Everybody wants to get match made with him. We had Mike Renner come and say Bijan is the best player in this draft, okay? And everybody's been saying that. We've heard that. So he can run inside. He can run outside. He can move through contact without breaking stride. We've got the Eagles, the Buccaneers, and the Patriots. What's the best fit?
If I'm the Eagles sitting there at 10, I don't think I can pass him up. I know they took some hits to other positions this offseason, and they've had success using a stable of running backs, but adding Bijan to make this offense damn near indefensible. And with that offensive line, with defenses having to account for Jalen and for AJ and Devontae, I don't know. I just don't know how you stop them. And I could see Bijan leading the league in rushing if he ends up as an Eagle. And remember, the Eagles do have 2 first-round picks, and their roster, even though they did take some hits, they're still pretty complete. So I think they have the luxury of being able to make a pick like this and go for something that they don't necessarily fully need, but that would make their team a lot better and make that offense maybe the scariest offense in the NFL next year.
I wonder if Eagles fans want him. Do you think so?
I think so. I mean, it's so exciting to think about him in that offense with everything that they have to work with.
I just wonder, do they have a little Miles Sanders fatigue? Do we have a little run game, like let's not invest in the run game? Like, I wonder if that exists with Eagles fans. Let us know. Let me get this straight. Baker Mayfield's the quarterback for the Bucs, right?
Yep.
Crazy. Literally crazy. Had to put that together. But listen, if they want a shot at winning the South, and I talked about it to start the show, the South is wide open. Saints are favored. Let's go Bucs, though. You need to get Mayfield a run game, okay? Leonard Fournette bounced. He's gone. So this is a complete back. He can do it all. He's a home run threat. Everybody loves him. It's a quick trip from Texas to Tampa for Matthew McConaughey. I mean, they pick at 19, okay? And this is a guy who can, in Nate Burleson's words, change the entire complexion of the offense, okay? Especially with the way this kid can catch out the backfield and the highlights that I've seen and what I'm hearing. So there's a lot of talent in Tampa, but I think, tell me, what do you think? The sort of recipe to winning the division is not having Mayfield drop back 50 times a game, right? Didn't work for Brady. It's not going to work for Baker.
Yeah, if it doesn't work for Tom, it's not working for anybody else. And that offense was just so one-dimensional last year. They need that other element, and it would be. I know Rachaad White has some promise. A lot of people are high on him too, but I think Bijan is just a different level of playmaker, and I agree with you. He would make that team. He would really give that offense what they were missing last season.
He would make Mac Jones happy too, but it ain't happening. We didn't pick you, buddy. Sorry, Mac. Okay, our next contestant on the Love Connection, NFL draft style, Jackson Smith and Jigba. You put him on the map for me, okay? He had a hammy injury last season. That's why he's intriguing, though, because he popped up at the Combine looking incredible. The Ohio State's Pro Day, he looked awesome. He was shining out there, and he could be the first receiver taken due to his ability to make these, what Josh Norris, shout out to him, catches in contested situations, okay? Contested plays is the name of his game, and this is a day one ready guy in the slot. So we got the Titans, the Bears, or the Texans. Best draft fit. This is a hard one.
This is, because they're all good options, but I think the Texans would be the best case scenario there. They traded away Brandon Cooks, of course. They did add a couple of vets like Robert Woods and Noah Brown, but they don't really have that number one option in this offense. And as you said, I think Smith and Jigba is that guy from day one. And if he's sitting there at 12, I think it's really hard to pass up. Remember, they're going to be taking a quarterback at number 2, whether it's Bryce Young or whether it's Smith and Jigba's college teammate, C.J. Stroud. They're going to need a number one option for him. And just the thought of being able to pair him with a quarterback for the next 5 years, as you love to say, set it and forget it. You have that connection ready to go, figured out, and it's going to be exciting for years to come, whichever quarterback you pair him with. So I think as a Texans fan, if I'm a Texans fan, that's what I would want.
Josh Norris has win at the catch point in contested situations. That was his trademark, and I did not say set it and forget it. It's the guy with the Ronco grill, where he can make 7 fishes in those crates. And a roast chicken and all sorts of things.
You love channeling the Ronco grill guy, for sure.
I really do. I'm scared to Google what he's up to now. Okay. Here, I want to say Chicago, right? Get DJ Moore, a guy to hang out with. The real question here, as I'm looking at that first team, Hamilton, what are the chances the Titans trade up or don't trade up to get a quarterback? That's what this comes down to, right?
Yeah, it does. And we're hearing a lot of rumors swirling that they're talking to Arizona about that number 3 pick. It would make a lot of sense with the money that they can save if they were to move on from Ryan Tannehill. And they are in a spot where I think they really do kind of need to rebuild this offense. The A.J. Brown trade last year kind of destroyed what they had going, and they're going to have to rebuild, I think, from the ground up. So I think it would make a lot of sense for them to go get a quarterback. But if they don't, do you like this fit for them?
Yeah. Well, they pick at 11, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so if they don't trade up, that's kind of a perfect spot for him. I'm going to say over Chicago, I think it'd be great to have him there, right? They went receiver in the first round last year. They took Treylon Burks. Jackson would be a nice compliment to him. This was the bottom barrel when it came to passing games, right? They were 30th, and he'll give a boost they desperately need. We know rookie wide receivers can hop on the scene and make a difference right away. And then, if you look at Treylon in his game, he's sort of that Swiss Army type Debo kind of guy. And as you were just talking about, Smith and Jigba, he's well-rounded. We're talking about a complete receiver. He's sort of more in the Jell-O mold of what a traditional wide receiver 1 target would look like. And so that is the perfect pairing for the Titans in that division to get back on track. Sorry, Chicago. Oh, we didn't have a fun one? we're going to do a tight end next. Let's do it. Dalton Kincaid, right? This is the tight end. Utah helped him grow into a great pass catcher. You got the route running. You talk about this kid a lot. He separates from coverage. His NFL comparison is Zach Ertz, not too shabby, even though you don't like comparisons. So you got the Commanders, the Lions, the Cowboys. Who you got?
I really like this for the Cowboys. I don't know if he's going to be there. If they stick at pick 26, they might have to trade up to grab him. But I think it's a perfect fit, and not just because they lost one tight end named Dalton and they need to fill that void. But I think just when you look at what he can do, he's such a smooth athlete, talented receiver. He'll be such an asset in that passing game. And we saw it last year. You talked about it a lot. The Cowboys offense was not the same without Amari Cooper. They really need to upgrade the weapons that they have around Dak. They did add Brandon Cooks to the mix, but I think if you add Kincaid there as well, now all of a sudden you have something that Dak could really flourish with.
I mean, Dwight Freeney came on our show and said, get a tight end, draft a tight end. That's literally what the future Hall of Famer had to say, right?
Yeah.
You're wrong, though, because we're going to spice it up with the Lions. Okay.
Oh, boy.
Mr. Bernstein, why not? Why not? They have 2 first-rounders this year, okay? He'll be a really good fit. They pick at 18, and they, of course, traded away Hawk, which was silly, last season. And while, the wide receiver room's pretty loaded, the offensive line looks great. They're ready to go. Dan Campbell hasn't played crazy. I think the tight end position can use a bit of an upgrade, okay? Dan Campbell is a tight end. He thinks like a tight end, and Kincaid would make a deadly Lions offense deadlier. We're going to go where next? Oh, we're going
to
to
Tyree Wilson.
Next. We're going to...
Oh, we are.
We are? We're going... Hold on. Without a break? Yeah, I don't... Conrad... Bye, Hamilton. Talk to you later. We'll be back. Speaking of tight end, we have Zack Kuntz. He is joining us, Old Dominion tight end. We're talking tight ends and draft fits. Listen, we are 15 days away from the NFL draft. Look at this, 6'7". Our next guest, one of the most athletic tight ends in this year's NFL draft. He's coming off a record-setting performance at the NFL Combine. The pride of Camp Hill, Pennsylvania, from Old Dominion, Zack Kuntz. Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm good. Zack, where are you right now?
I'm in Norfolk, Virginia right now, back at Old Dominion, just doing some football training leading up to the draft.
Talk to me about what goes into that. You're one of the most athletic guys in this draft. It's true. You're literally as tall as the ceiling fan behind you in Virginia, and you're about to pop on the scene in the NFL. What goes into these days of training and getting yourself ready mentally, physically, with the draft starting 15 days from now?
Yeah, just staying focused on the task at hand. I can't really look too far ahead. Kind of everything that we've kind of done is already done with now. So it's really just, focusing on my training now, putting myself in the best position come, rookie minicamp.
Now, in researching you a little bit, Zack, we want to get some background as a team. And you refer to yourself as a dog dad, which is great, and we love it. Your dog has an Instagram account. Is Nala around? How is Nala doing?
She's good. First time I saw her for a little while during our local pro day here. But, she's been staying with my brother back in Pennsylvania. He's been taking good care of her. But, she's doing well.
We have some pictures. Now, she has her own Instagram, but the captions, we were literally crying. Can you read this to me?
My daddy and I love Taco Tuesday. Yeah, go for it.
At the retreat, here's Nick displaying his scrumptious tacos too, but I think that I am most scrumptious. Then you have another one. So I went to Das Salon. It did not go well. Swipe to see my reaction. This is Nala. I don't know who's writing this for you, but we were cracking up. And then we have the last one, laying in bed. I miss my daddy so much. He said that we will reunite soon. And then you wrote, I miss you too, Nala. Zack, what is going on here?
No, Nala's got a mind of her own, so no, she handles her own social. So, I kind of let her do what she does.
Great. I have a great agent. So if you need someone to just like get her into a commercial or do something like get into a special event, if Nala needs Coachella tickets this weekend, you come talk to Aunt Kay and I can figure it out. We just wanted to have a little fun with you there. You stand at 6'7", right? Growing up, you played football. Were there any other sports that you considered? Lots of tight ends like the hoops.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, I definitely kind of considered basketball. There was kind of a time in high school, or going to high school, really. There was 2 spots that I kind of could have ended up going. And I think if I went a different route, maybe probably would have pursued basketball a little bit more. But, I always played football, basketball, ran track, and I always kind of stayed well-rounded. It was something, I really like to do. So, I just tried to stay all around. I didn't want to be too one-dimensional too early. I think it helped me a lot, kind of being well-rounded and kind of having that through high school, helping me obviously with football and college and so on.
I love that. And then you started your college career at Penn State. You were there for 3 years before making the switch to Old Dominion. Explain to NFL fans why you decided to make that move, and maybe what did you learn about yourself having to transition to a new program?
Yeah, I was fortunate to earn my degree from Penn State. It's something that I set my mind to. I was going to, complete that. And then, I learned a lot. I was with, a lot of great teammates, both in my room offensively, and on the other side of the ball. Iron sharpens iron with that. Had some great coaches, great role models that, helped me learn a whole lot. And then, making my transition to Old Dominion. Have had great relationships with people there, explained, the opportunity for me there and, panned out well.
Now, during your time at Penn State, where you started your career, you were teammates with Pat Freiermuth, who's now a Steeler tight end, does his thing for Pittsburgh, and he's a star. What did you learn from him when you're talking about iron sharpening iron, spending time with him even just on the field?
Yeah, I mean, just by... Oh, man.
We got you, buddy. Kuntz, we got you figured out.
That's a lot there. But no, yeah, we obviously, we had a great relationship there. Just going through, workouts, training, constantly pushing each other and, learning ways that he prepares that works for him, the different ways that he finds success. And, with him and, other teammates as well, each of us kind of have a different process of what it is, from Sunday up until Friday leading up to the Saturday games. So, kind of finding different, pieces that work for you and then implementing that to your process.
What do you ask him? Do you ask him, like if I were you, I'd say, how different is the NFL? Or like, what's your best pointer you can give me on the draft process? Like, what's the question that you've asked him?
Yeah, I would say, obviously there's a big difference, between college and professional. And then I kind of relate it to similarly, like you go from the high school jump to college, there's obviously a difference in the pace of game and like different ways that you do those things. So, there's been little pieces here and there, some things, whether it be how you go about practice or like go about workouts or like doing extra meetings, things like that. So kind of a logistics thing, if you will, of kind of just the process of how things work. Obviously, an NFL season's a whole lot longer. So there's, taking care of your body, doing treatment, things like that. So, all those things are kind of important.
Listen here, kiddo, whatever you're doing, whatever Freiermuth's helping, whatever you're, hanging out in Virginia, keeping your body right, it's working. Because this scouting combine, we got to get into it. You ran a 4.55. That was the fastest 40 by a player 6'7" or taller since 2003. I don't even know if you were born in 2003. You became, my friend, the tallest player in combine history with a 40-inch vertical. We're seeing your 40 here. What went so well this day?
Yeah, I know. I felt really well. I was training at the XS facility, and they do a great job there with their athletes. They have, you see it in their track record of all the people they've kind of had come through there. So it's a matter of tapping into that potential of what you're able to do, and a lot of hard training, long days leading up to that point, and then that week of the combine, really getting your body primed and feeling ready. We call it a taper off kind of what you've been doing so that, when you go out there, you're running your best times, you're jumping higher than you ever did, during training. So, the taper worked well for me. I trusted the process, and, it ended up going well.
I can't imagine, I've covered, this league for a long time, that didn't increase traffic, that didn't increase the tension that you were getting from NFL teams since then. What has that been like?
Yeah, it definitely was an uptick, after the combine, just getting a chance to, talk to, a bunch of different teams, a bunch of different position coaches, like tight ends coaches from multiple different teams. So, that's been a great process, obviously, being able to communicate with them and, learn different ways that they kind of go about coaching, kind of getting a feel for them as a coach, and as an organization, and things that, they kind of do. So, when this time comes after the draft, whoever I, end up getting drafted by, we can kind of hit the ground running and, get going.
What's your draft plan? Where are you going to be?
I'll be back home. Yeah, I'll be back home in Camp Hill, spending it with the family. Got a bunch of siblings, some nieces and nephews, everybody, obviously the dogs. So, they're all back up there. So I'll have back up there here a little bit, and then, spend some time with the family.
Nala will be the star of the show, I'm sure. I'm surprised no NFL team brought up Nala to you in any of your interviews.
Nah, believe it or not, no, they ask you if you have a dog or something, and I'd mention it, but nah, nothing more than that.
No, they didn't try to get you to read the captions like I did. That's why these NFL teams need me. I do the real research in this one. You're a very tall tight end. You're going to be one of the tallest players in the NFL. Is there a guy that you like that you model your game after, or just a favorite guy that's played the position on the highest level?
Yeah, for sure. Guys like, you got a guy like Mike Gesicki or Darren Waller that are, obviously, big athletic guys that are able to, go up there and, make those plays, 50-50 balls. And, I'm very familiar with Mike's game from watching him at Penn State and then, there on after. So, definitely elements of their game that, I kind of see and obviously try to, emulate into mine. But, you see the kind of the transformation of the tight end position as it's kind of been as of late. And, I think it's an extremely exciting time to be a tight end. Obviously we have a great tight end class. Got to meet a lot of those guys out of the combine, all great guys. And, I'm excited to see, obviously myself, but, kind of what, we all kind of do and changing the landscape, in the next couple of years.
It's so true, and I got to tell you, it's one of my favorite position groups. It might be my favorite position group in the NFL because the tight ends are so, pun intended, they're tight. Like, they have their tight end camps. They all talk to each other. Kittle gets them all together. And it really is a bunch of guys who are so for each other, even though they want to beat each other on the field. It's a very cool sort of party to be invited to, and you'll be invited there on the biggest stage in the NFL. We're so excited to see you. I'd love for you to tell people out there that maybe didn't get to watch you at Penn State or Old Dominion, like, what's your super strength? Like, if I had a superpower, it would be finding the pets of draft prospects and embarrassing them. What is your superpower out there?
If I could choose a superpower, I would definitely control time. I think that would be the coolest, ability to be able to do that, be able to manipulate time, go back in time, or, go in the future. I think that'd probably be the one I choose.
Where would you go?
That's a good question. I mean, honestly, I don't know. I'd probably go ahead in time, find out who's going to win, who's going to win games and, win the lottery or something like that. Something simple.
That's amazing.
I was going to say, Back to the Future.
I was going to say, yeah, don't go back to the past because, there wasn't, nothing that great happened. You're living in a great time. And right now, the present is the best thing for you, my friend. We're excited about that. We want to play a little game with you. There's a show on HBO. It's called The Last of You that's really popular. So we're going to ask you some rapid-fire questions. We're going to put 60 seconds on the clock. And I'm going to ask you the last time you did stuff. When is the last time you dunked a basketball?
Ooh, dunked a basketball 3 days ago.
Really? When's the first time you dunked a basketball?
In a game, 7th grade.
7th grade, you were dunking?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's insane. What is the last video game you played?
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty. Okay, when did you do that? This morning already?
No, that's it. I was playing yesterday when I was back at the house.
When's the last time you had a haircut? Let me see that hair.
No, yeah, it's getting too long, honestly. It was kind of stubborn on me when I came down to Old Dominion. I went and got a haircut, and it was like $50, and I was like, I'm not doing that again. So just from there on it, I didn't get a haircut. And I got a trim when I went back home by a family friend, and then no, I haven't done anything since then.
Zach, are you going to be the kind of guy that even when you make money in the NFL, you're not going to want to pay for a $50 haircut?
No, I think I will. I'll definitely trim it up for my mom's sake. Clean it up a little bit, but it's all the same underneath the helmet, having the flow kind of hanging out. That was the goal. So yeah.
You're a college kid. You get hungry. When is the last time you cooked a meal?
Oh, I cook fairly often. In my house. No, I cook breakfast every single morning. Lunch is kind of the same deal. Sometimes I'll eat out for lunch if I'm in between workouts, things like that. But no, I love going to the store and getting a nice ribeye or T-bone steak. That I cooked?
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, the T-bone steak. And I went and got some Kraft mac and cheese, a little veggies on the side, kind of all around, mixing it in there. So.
Like a true college kid, always with the mac and cheese. Yeah. That's all I ate for 4 years. Let's see. I don't know what I want to ask you. I want to ask you the last time you cried while watching a movie.
I might even have to say Good Will Hunting.
Oh, such a good one.
No, I like that movie a lot.
An oldie, but a goodie. It's well done. I'm going to do a little trivia for the last one. The last time you scored a touchdown, the last team you scored a touchdown against was who?
Arkansas State.
Arkansas State, back in September 24th, and he's coming to an NFL team near you. We appreciate you, Zack Kuntz. Thank you for making time for us, letting NFL fans get to know you as we cheer you on. Have fun, and tell Nala we say hi.
I got you. Will do. Thanks for having me on.
I appreciate you. Good luck at the draft. Enjoy. We got a 6'7" tight end from Old Dominion ready to wreck shop in the NFL, and he dunked when he was in 7th grade. What is that? Listen up. That is Penn State corner Joey Porter Jr., and one thing about him is he's got a lot more going on than his famous name. Yes, his dad is that Joey Porter, the all-world pass rusher, the Super Bowl champion, Steelers legend, and I get it. It's a very cool and cute storyline that you see in the old NFL media package, the binder that I never read through in all my years there. But listen, we got to give Porter Jr. his due based on what he's accomplished. That's what we'll do here on the show. He's regarded as one of the top corners in this draft with good reason. He was named first team All Big Ten. He was named Penn State's MVP. Listen, it must get a little tiresome to have a 12-minute press conference and at the Combine get asked just 6 questions in a row about your dad, which is something that happened. But while he seemed prepared to handle it all, and he did express nothing but gratitude, he was awesome and spoke about the opportunities that having an NFL dad has provided him, the osmosis, all of that. Junior also made it very clear he's his own guy. Take a look.
What are some of the core things your dad taught you?
Just to be myself, no matter what. There's people are always gonna make comparisons, so I have my name, he has his name for a reason, and just do what I love to do, and that's play football.
Love him. It'll probably help that he plays a different position than his dad, by the way, but make no mistake, the spotlight's going to be a little hotter, a little brighter, all things Porter concerned. The expectations will be greater. They'll be bigger because of how good his dad was and how meaningful he was in the history of the NFL. If the endless questions at the press conference weren't enough evidence of that, how about this shot during his 40? We couldn't just give him his 40. We had to have a dad reaction cam. Let the man live. That's what I say. It was kind of cool to see. But you know what I'm saying, the point I'm making, the microscopic lens and magnifying glass being bigger, deeper, more meaningful. Right now, a lot of people have Joey mocked to the Steelers in the first round. And while it would be a really fun culmination of his hard work to see him end up in Pittsburgh, where he grew up, where his dad was a star, I don't want to hear from Steelers fans on this. I almost am wondering, is it better if it doesn't happen? because it's just going to keep that narrative and perpetuate it. It's not going to go away. Rather than give him what he probably wants, is to feel like what he's doing is his game, his individual story. So I'd like to see him go somewhere and have the chance to establish his own legacy. I want people to talk less about who his dad was, and respectfully, of course, but more about what he's doing and how he's the most physical corner, which he is in this entire draft, about, you know, how growing up with his sister Jasmine, who has autism, how that inspired him to major in special ed. Do we talk about that? Not enough, okay? And he's used that platform to help children with special needs, or about how whoever drafts him is going to get a truly remarkable player and a person who can be a cornerstone of a defense from years to come. A little more about that, a little less about the pedigree and the bloodlines is all I'm asking. So that's one thing about cornerback Joey Porter Jr. coming to stop wide receivers and offenses near you. 15 days away from the draft. We'll be back. Derek, do me a favor and pop Hamilton right up here. We don't have a lot of time, but there's 15 days to the draft. And Mahomes wears that 15. So do a lot of fun players.
Yeah, and we thought we'd have a little fun here. I'm going to throw up, we got a board of some famous people to wear the number 15. And I'm going to throw some rapid fire questions at you, and you tell me who you'd pick. So first off, which number 15 would you want to camp with at Coachella?
Camp with? Like glamp with or camp with? I'm going to say Patrick Mahomes because he has the most money. Does he have the most money of those guys? Carmelo Anthony for sure doesn't have more money than him, right?
It might be close.
I don't know who has more
Patrick's
money.
going to catch up fast.
Who has the most money? Patrick Mahomes.
Next one. Who would you want to be stuck on a 10-hour road trip with?
I didn't hear you because they were talking. What is it? What's the question?
Who would you want to be stuck on a 10-hour road trip with?
Tim Tebow, because I think he'd be quiet and wonderful, and God would keep me safe. Jesus would take the wheel.
To fill that awkward silence?
Brandon would be a lot.
Change a tire. Who would you pick to change a tire?
I can't hear you, as you know.